Solving equations. What is an equation? An equation says that two things are equal. An equation has an equal sign. So when you see this equal sign, you know we're talking about an equation. Examples of equations. 2 plus 5 equals 7. X plus 3 equals 10. Y minus 2 equals 6. 3 times x equals 24. These are just some examples. The letters in these examples are called variables. The variable is a symbol used to represent a number which is not known. So we just use these letters to represent a number that we haven't found yet. We don't know what it is. Solution. The solution of an equation is the value of the variable that makes the equation true. Example. X plus 3 equals 10. This is asking what number added to 3 equals 10. So we could probably do that in our head. What number plus 3 is 10? 7. So many of these problems, many of these equations that we have, we could probably do it in our head. Probably most of us can. But what we want to get from that is not that we could do it in our head, but we want to learn the correct process of how to solve it. So that when we have equations that we cannot do in our head, we know the proper steps so that we can solve those kinds of problems. So try to still follow the correct steps that we show you so you'll be able to solve other equations later. Okay. Solving equations where the variable is by itself on one side of the equation. Our goal is always to get x by itself. Well, in these first four problems, the variable is already by itself. So we simply have to work out the right side. Okay, so here's number 1. X equals 24 divided by 3. Just work out 24 divided by 3. You might want to pause and go ahead and work out these problems. Okay, 24 divided by 3, that gives us 8. Go to number 2. Yeah, that's it. Just work out the right-hand side, and you're all done. Not too bad, right? Y equals 4 times 7. What's our answer? 28. Number 3. A equals 15 minus 2. There should be an A there, but we'll let it go. A equals 13. Again, I should have an A right there. And then M equals 11 plus 6. M equals 17. Okay, once again, just a typo right there. That X should be an A. Okay, let's go to the next page. Solving equations of the form X plus A equals B. So X plus 5 equals 17. Our goal is to get X by itself. What we're going to do is subtract A on both sides of the equal sign. So think of terms of doing the opposite. So we have a plus 5. The opposite of addition is subtraction. And whatever you do to one side of the equation, you have to do to the other side of the equation. So that's a common phrase you'll hear a lot. Whatever you do to one side, you got to do to the other side. So I wrote it underneath. This is called the vertical format. There's also a horizontal format where you write it after the 5 here. But I think I like it. Most people like it, this vertical format. Now, what is 5 minus 5 here? 0. So x plus 0 equals 12. And then what is anything plus 0? Well, that's still just x. So our answer is x equals 12. Okay, you might want to pause and then finish up number 6 before we keep going. Okay, so same step. Subtract 25 on both sides. So y equals 7. Okay. Now, multiplication. When you see multiplication, you want to think in terms of the opposite, which is division. So solving equations of the form a times x equals b. And a and b are just numbers. Our goal is to get x by itself. So this is saying 3 times what number is 21? 7. Right? Well, let's kind of get a better format of doing this problem. Draw a line under each side to indicate division. So underneath each side, put a line underneath each side. And then write the value of a below each line. So a is a number that's in front of the x, in front of the multiplication symbol. So our value of a is 2. So below each line, write a 2. And then it says simplify each side. Well, what's 2 divided by 2? That's right, 1. So we have 1 times x, and then 22 divided by 2 is 11. What's 1 times x? Just x. So x equals 11. So 2 goes into this number evenly, but let's say that was a 23. That's when mixed numbers come into play. We have fractions. So if this number doesn't go in evenly, well, our answer is going to be a fraction. Or we could have decimals in these kinds of problems. But again, right now we're just learning the proper format so that we can be prepared for those kinds of problems. Okay, let's do the same process. Draw a line under each side to indicate division. You might want to go ahead and pause and then work these out. Okay, so put that line underneath each side. Write the value of a below each line and simplify. Now 7 over 7. And 63 divided by 7 is 9. 1 times x is just x, so that's our answer. X equals 9. Okay, last problem. Put a line underneath each side. Divide by 5. Now, instead of writing 5 divided by 5 is 1, you could also think of those 5s as crossing out. So we have x equals 9. 9 again. Okay, a short lesson, just an intro to solving equations. Again, we're getting prepared for other problems later that have answers that are fractions or decimals. I'll see you here for the next video.